Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be in Kyiv, Ukraine shortly. There is tremendous anticipation and excitement, especially amongst the Indian community and of course some young members of parliament in Ukraine, members of the Friends of India group. And with me are two young, dynamic and prominent members of the Ukrainian parliament. I want to first introduce Yulia Klymenko. Yulia Klymenko is considered a very dear friend of India and also a member of parliament. Welcome on India Today.
Welcome. Welcome to Ukraine and welcome Narendra Modi to Ukraine.
And I also want to welcome on this special broadcast Sviatoslav Yurash. Sviatoslav Yurash has been, both Yulia and Sviatoslav Yurash have been a guest on India Today very, very frequently through this Russia-Ukraine conflict. He's a machine gunner. He went viral, his pictures with an AK-47 in his hand as a young member of parliament, the youngest member of parliament in Ukraine at that point of time, defending his country against foreign aggression. And I believe, Sviatoslav, you've just come back from the front lines.
Yes, I come back for the parliamentary weeks, basically. Besides that, I'm also on the front lines.
He's also on the front lines. Every Ukrainian is right now defending their country, of course, for 900 days and counting against the Russian operations or war. But I want to begin by asking you, Yulia, your expectations of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit.
First of all, it's one of few visits for past 20 years. So we are very happy to see here Narendra Modi, and I hope it will signal to all Ukrainian nations that India recognized Ukrainian sovereignty, Ukrainian peaceful efforts, and probably Narendra Modi is a powerful man, and probably he can do something with Mr. Putin and convince him to leave us. And we are a peaceful nation. We want to live in peace, not fighting.
So there is hope that the Prime Minister's special relationship, as they say, with President Putin will pave the way, or at least there would be some forward movement on peace. Now, you're right on the front lines, and you've been on the front lines right from the beginning. When you meet the Indian Prime Minister, when you see the Indian Prime Minister, what would you want to hear from him?
Basic message for this century is very clear. India will decide the future of the 21st century. And India being here, talking with us, working with us, and pushing at Russia to finally leave us alone sends a message not just to Ukraine or to Russia, but to the world, that India will take the lead. And for me, it's fundamental that the Indian leader is coming here and he clarifies and talks and builds bridges. It's a message that Ukraine needs in this very difficult time that certainly continues as long as Russia is keeping these soldiers invading, killing and destroying our country.
And those operations continue even as you and I speak. The fighting is on the front lines. And Ukrainian forces have mounted a very audacious counter-attack in Kursk. And just before the Indian Prime Minister comes now, in this situation, will this help Ukraine have a bargaining chip? Is that the thinking through the Kursk operation?
I don't think it's a main thinking. The main thinking is that Russians and Russian soldiers and Kremlin systematically destroyed civilian infrastructure, homes of civilians, and killed civilians, a lot of civilians, from this territory. So our main goal to push them back from our borders so they cannot destroy civilians' life, schools, hospitals, killing kids, etc., etc. We don't need a single square meter of Russian land. We don't need it. We have enough. We just want them not to kill our families, because they are not fighting with an army. They are fighting with the civilians, with women, with kids, with elderly people, etc., etc. So actually for us, it's them push them back out from our borders so they cannot destroy our homes.
Okay. And as a military man and a political leader, Yurash, how do you see this situation pan out? When Prime Minister Narendra Modi is here, he'll be talking to President Zelensky. He'll perhaps also be interacting with members of parliament. So what is the message that you would want to hear from him after his meeting with President Putin on the 8th of July in Moscow?
Well, the reality is it's also a message I want to send him, and to send a message that Ukrainians, both Ukrainians in all around Ukraine and people in the government or the opposition. We have Yulia is from the opposition, and I'm from the government, and basically we still come together in terms of building the Indian relationship. That's something that Ukrainians agreed is fundamental for our future, and we want to work on that relationship in every single way. And again, we need India to continue building bridges here, and the visit of the Prime Minister here is the biggest bridge of all, so we cannot thank you enough for that step.
As far as India is concerned, and as far as India today is concerned, we get you all sides of the story, and that is why we have leaders from the ruling party, we have leaders of the opposition, and we're getting you all perspectives from Ukraine. And is the entire country on the same page on Prime Minister Narendra Modi coming here? And is this relationship more about the road to peace, or is this more about India-Ukraine relationship on the road to reconstruction?
I think it's both, because we, as Ukrainians, were very upset about Modi's visit to Russia, honestly. And it was, nation was very unpleasantly surprised, because at this point of time, at this particular day, our hospital, biggest hospital, kids hospital in Ukraine, was destroyed, Ahmadit. That's why for us it was honestly a very unpleasant situation. And we are happy that your Prime Minister Narendra Modi looking at this situation and decide to visit also Ukraine to respectively so to approach Ukrainian nations. I think it's very much appreciated at this point of time. And for India, in Ukrainian relations, it's both road to peace and road to reconstruction, because this is the same road.
These friends of India on two opposite ends of the spectrum, the opposition and the ruling party, both waiting for Prime Minister Narendra Modi to talk to Ukraine on what would be the road ahead for peace, and equally important, if not more, for reconstruction of Ukraine. Gaurav Sawant in Kyiv, Ukraine, for India Today.